best car, SUV, or truck, guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay, come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we've got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.
Frontier Motors, of course, at 230 Beverly Parkway, the home of low overhead country. The owner of that fine establishment has joined us, as he is prone to do. If you would like to call and get a price on a car or a truck or an SUV that you're thinking of buying or selling or trading in, couldn't be easier. 476-1007. 476-1007. That's the phone number. If you're outside the call-in area, mainly in Alabama, just add an 888 to that phone number, and you'll be able to make that call toll-free. And who will you talk to? None other than Iven Streckel, the owner.
Hey,
Good
Don,
morning.
thanks for the introduction. I appreciate it. And for the next half hour, we're going to be talking about cars in general, not so much how to fix cars. We'll leave that to the Bobby Leica Show, our #1 mechanic in town. But Frontier Motors is going to be talking about cars and what's new in the car industry, and also a lot about the values of cars. I've got some venues that we bring with us to help us with the values of cars, and the old way to do it, of course, is use the books. I've got the NADA book right here, which is the books that the credit unions and our banks use in our area. Not the Edmunds, you'll notice. It's an NADA, not the Edmunds and not the Kelly Blue book. And we also use the Black Wholesale Guidebook. This is what tells us what's going on at the auction. So if I know what I can buy one at the auction, of course, that helps me. If the auction, for example, is $20,000, and this book says it's worth $27,000, then I know this book is going to be too high, because the spread between wholesale and retail is normally maybe $2,000 or $3,000, but it's not normally $7,000. Don, do we already have a call?
We do. Rod, he's from Atmore, but he says he's working his way up to, from Daphne, but he's working his way up to Atmore right now. Rod, R-O-D.
Hey, Rod, thanks for calling the Frontier Motor Show. How can we help you?
Yes, sir. I usually trade about every 2 years, normally buy used, and I've got a 2004 Honda Pilot with 134,000 miles on it now. I've had it less than a year.
Okay.
Just wondered I know I'd have to buy my way out of this. I would be upside down if I tried to trade it, but approximately what would something like this sell for us? And it's in good condition, but it does have the high miles on it. I run some miles up on them pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, it's a Honda, and the Honda doesn't get hurt by the miles as much as some of the other vehicles. And the Pilot's a great selling vehicle. It does have the third seat, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's a really good selling point on the Pilot, because the competition to the Pilot is the Highlander, and a lot of the Highlanders don't have the third seat. So while I'm talking here, I'm going to be looking it up for you. Tell me if it's an EX model or if it's an EXL, or just the base model LX. The LX is the one with cloth interior. The EX would have a sunroof with cloth, and the EXL would have a sunroof and leather.
Leather interior, but it does not have a moonroof in it.
Okay, so let's go on EXL. And it's a four-wheel drive? Yeah, I think they're all four-wheel drive back then.
Two-wheel drive.
Actually, believe it or not, it's four-wheel drive. They don't make a two-wheel drive back then. You probably didn't even know that. And you said 134,000?
Yes, sir.
34. All right.
So give it to you exactly. 134, 117.
118, 119.
18, 19, 20.
Yeah, he's on the road.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting that, I consider that pretty high miles, but for the year, it really isn't high miles, Rod. They're talking about only a $300 deduct for the miles, which is pretty good. That they're saying that's just about average miles, because you got to figure with the 2014s coming out, if not already out, it's considered a 10-year-old vehicle. They consider 15,000 miles a year to be average miles, so 150 would be average, and you've got 134 on it, so not too bad. The loan value, which is supposed to be wholesale, is about $6,600. And retail is exactly $10,000. Now, what this means, that if you sold it yourself, that a bank would finance, if you can find a bank that'll finance a 134,000-mile vehicle, but they're going to book it out at a retail of $10,000, which means that's what they'll finance a retail customer. And a dealership should be looking at the vehicle somewhere between $6,000 and $65,000. What's your payoff on it?
I apologize. I have this was just, I heard your show. I've listened to it off and on for several months, been down through in this area, but I do not know the payoff yet, but I'm going to find it out today.
So then you get a better idea of, let's say hypothetically you owe $8,000 on it. Well, that's not really that bad. Now, if you owe 12 on it, then you'd have an issue, because the retail is 10. I think if you sold it yourself, if it's in good condition,
somewhere in that neighborhood would be my guess.
Okay, all right. Well, that's good. That's not too bad. And if the vehicle's in good condition, if you sold it yourself, I think you can get somewhere between the 9 and 95 range. If you put it on Craigslist or AutoTrade or Cars.com. If you brought it to a dealership, now we might be able to give you $8,000 on trade. Let's say the vehicle's worth $6 to $65, and you're looking at and I'll just use this as an example. I've got a 2011 a Pilot in stock with 34,000 miles on it. That's 28.9. I might be able to give you $8,000 or $9,000 in trade off that 28.9. So a lot of times I can work it out, and of course the advantage of trading is that you get a little bit of a tax credit because you pay less taxes, and it's easy. You don't have to worry about selling yours and getting somebody come in and test drive it and getting the money and all that, where you just come in and trade. So when you're ready, it might be worth your while to pop in at Frontier Motors. I know you're calling from Mobile, but I can tell you within a couple of minutes what it will cost you to upgrade if you decide to trade it in.
All right, sir. Well, thank you very much for your time.
No problem. Thanks for calling the show, Rod. And one of the things I can tell the listeners out there is we do this from 9 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock in the afternoon. We've got 4 appraisers. Myself and my partner Ron is there. We also have 2 sales managers. So normally the wait might be 5 or 10 minutes maximum. To do an appraisal probably takes about 5 to 10 minutes. What we do is we scan the ID number. We use our cell phone, our smartphone. We scan the ID number. Which is on the windshield or on the door. It actually most people might not know this, but every car has a barcode, just like when you go in a grocery store and they scan your groceries. A car has a barcode just like that. So I scan the barcode and I plug it into my computer, and I get a lot of information. Number one, it'll tell me the Carfax and the auto check on it. So I run 2 history reports on the car immediately to find out how many owners did it have. Where was the car born? Where has it resided? Has it been in an accident? Things like that. It'll tell me if it's a one owner, things like that. The other thing it'll tell me is it'll give me that NADA book that we're talking about, which to me is very important, because if you decide to get a loan on the car, and like Rod called before about his Pilot, well, if he was selling the vehicle for $12,000, and even if you've got someone who said, I'll give you $12,000 for it, and they go down to the credit union uses this NADA book, and they book it out for $10,000, well, there goes your deal. Because they're saying, well, it's not worth it. Now, they don't have a clue, but they just look at the book. Now, this vehicle might be a one owner, absolutely gorgeous. Maybe he just put a new motor and a new transmission, changed a timing belt, and spent $5,000 on it, which I think would enhance the value a little bit, but the book doesn't add for that. So therefore, either the banker's wrong or the book's wrong, but you got to live with the book. That's important. The other book that's also important that we use, which is on my computer when I scan the ID number, is the Black Wholesale Guidebook. That tells me what they're currently going through at the auction. And the other thing is what's called a price driver. And what the price driver does, and I'm looking at it right now, the price driver tells me what is the availability of an 04 Honda Pilot it defaults to 150 miles. So I can just click price driver. It tells me every dealership or anybody that's got one, whether it's a dealership or private, that has one on AutoTrader, Cars.com, on a lot of different venues, and they'll pop up and tell me, here, there's 15 of them available, and this is what they're going for. So if there's a bunch of them going for $7,500, and I'm telling them you should get 95, well, then I'm wrong. Because if there's a bunch of them out there with 130,000 miles and they're going cheaper. So that's your competition. And I do that. This morning I ran my inventory report. We have 303 cars in inventory. That's a lot of cars. And every car that I price, I do the price driver to see what's my competition asking for the car. Now, obviously, I don't want to be the most expensive. Once in a while, I might be if I've got the best equipment, the lowest miles. But normally, I want to be on the lower end of the pole. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be the cheapest one, because people always say, because everybody gravitates to the least expensive one. And let's use a Honda Pilot, for example. I've got a Honda Pilot that's a 2011 model EXL with leather interior, absolutely gorgeous, 34,000 miles, still in the factory warranty, and I'm asking $28,900. Well, if there's 4 of them in there for $26,000, I better readjust my thinking. Either there's something wrong with those 4 that I'm finding on the price driver, or and if there's not anything wrong with them, then I'm too high. So I have to adjust my asking price, my selling price, or I'm never going to be able to sell that vehicle. So this is something that I can do within a matter of seconds when I get a vehicle. And we reappraise those vehicles sometimes as we have them. And there's already been times where the market has shifted, where everybody's out of, let's say it's a Honda CRZ, which is a small Honda coupe. that's a hybrid. Well, if nobody has one within 150 miles, that price might actually go up a little bit because there's no competition and we're the only one that has one. So, but it has to be adjusted based on what the competition is out there and what the market can bear on a particular vehicle. Most of the time, of course, we adjust them down, not up, because there's more of them in the market or the market's shifted. And we're seeing that right now with the price of gas. I think today I watched Good Morning America, and it was the first time in 2.5 weeks they said that the price of gas actually had come down. They do it on a daily watch. Actually, it might have been Channel 3. They did a daily watch where in our area the price of fuel went down. But over the last 2 weeks, every day the fuel has gone up. I remember a couple of weeks ago, the average price of gas in our area was $3.29. Well, now it's like $3.59. And people are starting to get a little spooked. And I see what's happening in the marketplace with the hybrids. Guess what? The hybrids, instead of going down in price every month, are staying even or they're going up a little bit, which means that if that continues, you might actually be able to drive a car for 6 or 7 months and not lose a dime on it because the market is bearing that out. The same thing with the diesels. I have read an article right now that I have in Used Car News, and it says the diesels hold a better value than the gas counterparts, even after the price of fuel that you pay for diesel, because everybody knows that diesel fuel is at least 30 to 40 cents a gallon more than regular gas, and also the fact that you pay a little more money for the diesel motor. So if you're buying a Volkswagen, for example, it might be, I don't have the exact figure in front of me, but let's say it's $2,000 more for a diesel versus a gas motor. But they're saying that after they've done the research, it says a new study found that diesel vehicles saved owners between $2,000 and $6,000 in total ownership costs during a 3 to 5 year period when compared to similar gas vehicles. And they go on and they give you the examples. Most of them are things like the Volkswagen Jetta wagon, the Volkswagen Golf, the Mercedes-Benz, just about every Mercedes-Benz product. And this is very interesting. The E-Class diesel saved the customer over 5 years $4,100 over their gasoline counterparts, and the GL model, which is their expensive one, saved $13,400. So in this particular case, it might actually be worth your while to mess with the diesel. And when I say mess with the diesel, I kind of snicker a little bit because I remember years ago when Oldsmobile and General Motors came out with a diesel motor, they kind of screwed up the whole diesel market in the United States for years to come. I believe that was in 1984 is when they had that fiasco with the diesels, and they were awful engines. They blew up at 60,000 miles, and everybody got a snoot full of diesels, and nobody in the United States wanted to do, other than pickup trucks, wanted anything to do with diesels. Well, guess what? It's turning around. Europeans have been dealing with diesels for years and years. Most of the vehicles, I think over 50% of the vehicles over in Europe run on diesel fuel. And they get phenomenal gas mileage, and they're starting to import some of these vehicles and making the EPA is certifying the vehicles. They never passed the EPA before, but now they are. Where now they're making a dent. The percentage is still way down. I don't remember exactly. I know that it might only be like 5% of the vehicles sold right now are diesels, but this year, Dodge is on track for the first one. They kind of beat Ford to the punch. Dodge 1500 this year is coming out with a 6-cylinder diesel. And Ford was talking about doing this for years and years. I'm talking about in their 150 truck. Everybody knows that you can get a 250 with a diesel. The Dodge has the Cummins, and the Chevrolet and General Motors has their Duramax, and the Ford has their 6.7 diesel. And now they're going to Dodge has beat everybody to the punch by putting a diesel in their 1500. Big torque. If you're going to be towing a boat, you might be able to do it with a 1500. Of course, the advantage of the 1500, number one, it's going to get you better fuel economy. It's also going to ride more like a car. A lot of people don't want to buy a 2500, 3500 because they drive like a truck. They got a heavy-duty suspension, and they're mostly used to pull things like motorhomes or for work or things like that. Where the newer trucks, you can tow a lot, but still have the versatility of having a family pickup truck. And I think that's a great thing. Of course, I think in the next couple of years, all of the big three, including Chevrolet and Ford, are going to be jumping on that smaller diesel bandwagon. And I see that the hybrids are, more and more of the cars are coming out with hybrids, and more cars are coming out with diesels. So the fuel economy thing is being driven right now based on the fact that we're getting close to $3.60 a gallon. And I think if it goes up to $4 a gallon, all these gas guzzlers are going to start taking a dive again. This is what happened about 4 years ago when the price of gas went to $4. boy, I lost a ton of money on our Suburbans and Tahoes, and we blew them all off. We got rid of all of them, probably lost $1,000 to $2,000 a piece on them. Instead of making $1,000, $2,000 a piece, the marketplace actually fluctuated about $4,000, and we were losing money. I got rid of all of them, and then the price, the price of course, the hybrids were selling over list price. You know, Toyota Prius, if the dealership had one in stock and the MSRP list price was $25,000, the dealers were selling them for $30,000. Well, within about 6 months, that took a topsy-turvy. The price of fuel came back down to $2.99 a gallon, $2.85 a gallon, and now I couldn't give a hybrid away. And everybody, and the price of Suburban Tahoes and Escalades went back up. And of course, I'm always in the, I don't invest in the stock market, folks, because I'm always doing the opposite of what I'm supposed to be doing. And if I could forecast it properly, I think I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I'd be retired and on a beach with my feet up somewhere. So I'm not a good forecaster, but what I can help you with in the Pensacola area and the surrounding area is to get a value on the car. One of the things I want the people to know that are listening to this, and we're also broadcasting this on FM now, aren't we, Don?
Yes, we are indeed.
Yeah, so this is a double format, and I forgot to mention this because a lot of people are watching this on cable TV right now. Well, you can see in the background I've got a WCOA sticker. That's AM radio, and we're also on 100.7 FM radio, and we just brought that coming January. We started going on FM, and we've got a lot of customers that have never heard of Frontier Motors before that are listening to this on the radio. They're saying, hey, I want to come over and get that free appraisal service, and you don't have to drive all the way to 230 Beverly Parkway in Pensacola. You can just give us a call at 436-8080. If you're outside the area, put an 888 in front of that, and I think if you're watching it right now, it's probably on the bottom of your screen. I'll give you a free appraisal of things I can do on the radio right here. I can do within a matter of seconds on the telephone, and I can also give you a free Carfax report. And I saw on the other day, it was kind of a compliment to Frontier Motors. There was a scam going out on Craigslist, and they had a scam alert that you have to watch for this, this, and this, and be careful of all the kind of things to be careful of. And then they had in big bold letters, they say, check with Frontier Motors because they will give you a free auto check or Carfax. And I thought that was kind of cool that Craigslist actually had this posted for their customers, and that's absolutely correct. I was kind of shocked because the other day I was looking at a private individual's car. I said, get your free Carfax report. So I clicked on it. It was on Auto Trader, I believe. I clicked on it. This was for sale by a private, not a car dealership, and they wanted $39.95 for it says free Carfax. Well, I don't know where the free comes from because I could click on it for free, but I couldn't get the report for free. It was $40 for the report. Don't pay the $40, folks. If you're buying a car on any of the websites or whatever, or on eBay or whatever, maybe your neighbor's got a car for sale, just call Frontier Motors or email us, and I will give you the report for free. I can either email it to you, text it to you, I can send it to you. You can come and pick it up at 230 Beverly Parkway, however you want it, and we'll do the auto check and the Carfax just to double check them. Every once in a while, I'll see one that maybe a car has an accident on one side and not on the other side. And of course, I'm not saying not to buy the car if it has an accident. I'm just saying do a little bit better inspection rather than just taking it and drive it around the block. These are just two of the services that we can offer for you. The other service we can offer, if you're going to buy a brand new car, we have the new car cost guides at the dealership, and they have they come out about 6 of these a year, which is the new car cost guides, and gives me the retail price and also the dealer cost of every new car out there. How I can help you with that, instead of paying Consumers Report for a free invoice, just call me and I'll tell you the invoice for nothing. I can make a copy of the page if you want. It'll tell me the dealer cost, it'll tell me the equipment, it'll tell me the retail price, and that'll give you a better idea of what you should pay for the car based on the fact that if you know the cost, you're not going to be able to buy it for cost, of course, but give them a smaller or minor profit, and it makes your job a lot easier. And then if you are going to buy that brand new car, what you do is you give me the information on your trade-in, and I can appraise the trade for you, because what you want to do is keep the transaction separate, make the best possible deal on a new car, and then get a good wholesale value on your trade-in. And where you get ripped off is if you get a good deal on the new car and then they try to steal the trade-in. Let's say I tell you it's worth $10,000 and they're offering you $7,000 for it. Well, I have to give you the information that they should be giving you $10,000 for it. If they don't give you $10,000 for it, why not just drop it off at Frontier Motors and I'll write a check for the car? And that's, of course, if we need the car. If I got 8 of them in stock, I'm not need the car. I can still help you with the values. But if I need that car, I'll just write you a check for it. And last week alone, we bought 15 cars from private individuals. We bought about 50 cars total. We buy about 50 cars a week because we sell about 50 cars a week. So we try to, that inventory keeps rotating quite fast. And a lot of the cars we get are from trade-ins, and some of them are from private individuals, and some of them we buy at the auctions. So we get them from all different means, but the best way of me getting a car is from you. So if you've got a car and you want to sell it and it's a good car, and the reason I like to get it from you is because I can talk to you about the maintenance history, what have you done to the car, what needs to be done to the car, how long have you had it. All these things are great because I can talk to the individual that owned the vehicle. Where sometimes when you buy a car from someone else that you don't know or from another dealer, you don't get the background, you don't get both sets of keys, you don't get the owner's manuals. And these are things, of course, that are helpful to us. So I love buying from private individuals, and it's actually harder for us at Frontier Motors. This might sound stupid, but it's actually harder for us to buy cars than it is for us to sell cars. Selling cars at Frontier Motors is easy. We've got 300 and some cars in inventory. We're going on 17 years in business. 70% of our customers are repeat or referrals. So we're just like a selling machine. People come in. We don't badger people. We basically unlock every car every morning, and we show you the cars and let you take them for a test drive. We tell you how much it is, and then you tell us if you want to buy it. That's our selling process at Frontier Motors. It's that you don't have to be a genius. We don't go to dealer school. We don't go to sales school to sell a car, because what we do is we take your order. When you're ready to place the order, we tell you this is how much it is. You can do your shopping, and once you've done your shopping, we've already done the shopping for you because I already know what everybody else has, so I know if I've got a better deal or not, and I'll tell you if I don't have a better deal. We don't sell every car in town. Every once in a while, if there's another car dealer that has that other car, I'll tell you about the car, and I'll say, go buy the car because it's a good deal. Maybe I've got the wrong color. It's not normally because of the price. A lot of times it might be because I don't have the right individual vehicle for you. This morning I had a customer that gave us some time to find him a car, and he ended up buying a Chevy Traverse this morning. He called me up and says, hey, I've not bought a Traverse. Stop looking for me because I couldn't find exactly the right one that he wanted. But that leads me into another program that we have, which is our Locate program. If you don't want to do any car shopping, you stop in Frontier Motors, and we will spec out the car for you. In other words, we'll ask you what year you want and the equipment and the model and the miles, what color you want. I give you a price. I'll tell you, okay, I can get you that car for $21,000. At that point, you either give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. Usually you give me a thumbs down because you're not exactly sure that's the car you want, and you don't want me to buy the car for you. I might buy that car in 2 days. It might be sitting there, and you say, wait a minute, I'm not ready yet. But once you're ready and you don't find a dealership that has that car in our area, I will go out and buy that car for you without a signature, without any money down, just your word and a handshake that as long as I produce the proper vehicle in the proper condition for the price that we talked about, that we have a deal. And we do about, I've got close to 50 locates right now of customers that have come in that have given me the orders to buy those cars. Now, the next thing is, where do I get the cars? A lot of them I can buy from private individuals. Some of them I can buy at the auctions. There's almost 20 to 25,000 cars available to me every week just in our surrounding area at the auctions. We've got a Manheim auction right here in Pensacola. It's a smaller auction. They sell between 500 and 600 cars. Orlando is the second largest auction in the nation, might even be the world. I'm not positive, but I know it's the second largest in the nation. And that one is on Tuesday, and I have a buyer down there. They run between 4,000 and 6,000 cars every day, every week, just that one single auction. Then we have another small one in Orlando. We've got one in Tampa. We've got 2 of them in New Orleans, and we've got 3 of them in Atlanta. And those are just some of the auctions that we have to draw from. And these cars are rated from 1 to 5. I've got pictures. I've got the ID number, and we have a buyer there. So we're I pretty much got this down pat to make sure that when I buy you the car, that the car is going to be right. Because people say, well, how do I know if I'm going to like it? Well, if you know, for example, a Chevy Traverse, if you know how they drive, you know if you like it. The only question you have, is it going to pass inspection? If it doesn't pass inspection, don't pay for it. It makes it so much easier. It's almost like ordering a new car, except the difference is you don't have to sign a contract and you don't have to put a deposit. So it's actually almost better than buying a new car. And this car is going to be like new, with low miles on it, still in a factory warranty, and it's going to save you $5,000 to $6,000 over the price of a new one. First, I'm going to tell you, if I can't save you enough money, go buy the new one. I'll even help you go buy the new one. And what I can do, even if you don't buy it from me, I will appraise the trade-in to make sure you get that extra special deal. Now, the reason I do this whole thing, and help you buy a car somewhere else, is because if I help you buy a car somewhere else and you get a good deal somewhere else, who are you going to recommend your friends and family and coworkers to? It's going to be the Frontier Motors. Because we're the ones that helped you get the deal. We didn't necessarily sell you the car, but we helped you get the deal. And we've been doing it so long that people really appreciate the service that we offer. And we really do this whether you buy a car from us or not, because we also know that if you do buy that car over there, that's not the only car you're ever going to buy. I think the average customer trades about every 5 years. So I might have lost you for 5 years, but I plan on being in business another 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. So we want you back the next time. And sometimes you've got a 2-car or 3-car or 4-car family. So just because we lost the 1-car sale doesn't mean we're going to lose the rest of them. And because we have so many cars that are like new, we also take a lot of trade-ins. I'm going to look at my sheet right now, and I'm going to get an idea of what I've got right now that I can sell for less than $10,000. And that's one of the things that people always say, well, you don't have any cheap cars. Well, that's not really true. I don't go out and buy cheap cars because I never know what to get. But if I take one in trade, that's a different story because I can talk to the person. If you've got a Honda with 170,000 miles on it, and the guy says, I just put a new transmission, I've had the timing belt change, I've had all the fluids changed, I bought it brand new, I might actually give that car a try, even with those kind of miles. Maybe it's something I can sell for $3,900 or $2,500 and still make somebody a good car, even though it's got high miles. So that makes a really big difference as far as if I was going to market that car to someone else. And as an example, this morning we took a Volvo in trade. It's a 2000 Volvo. I think it's got 130,000 miles on it. And normally I would wholesale that car because they got issues. But I can't find nothing wrong with this car. I'm trying to figure out, should I sell it to somebody else or should I just wholesale it and get rid of it? Only because a lot of them have issues. This car is absolutely flawless. I think the sunroof works. It's got air conditioning. Everything's fine on it. So I'm thinking this could still make a good car for the next owner. And that's one.
Could I get a value for a friend of mine?
Sure.
All right. She contacted me the other day after hearing the show, and we weren't able to get her in before the show ended. She has a gold 2006 Toyota Tundra. It's a 4-door with a V8. It's not 4-wheel drive. It's automatic. Mm-hmm. She has leather and a bed liner. And the best news about this one is it only has 37,000 miles on it.
You said it's an 06 model?
It is, 2006 Toyota Tundra.
Yeah, that's really low miles, Don. I'd love to have that vehicle. So I'm going to do an appraisal here if I can get back on the internet. I think I should be able to do it.
Right.
My book only goes back to 2007, but my computer should do it for me if it doesn't go too slow.
Yeah, I understand.
All right. Now you don't know. You said it has leather, so I'm assuming it's going to be a limited because they come standard.
Could
with a
be.
leather
I
version.
didn't get that information. Yeah.
Well, we'll just assume it's going to be a limited.
Right.
And I'm assuming it's two-wheel drive. She would have told
Yes.
me it's
Yes, it
full-wheel
is. It's not 4-wheel drive,
drive. All right.
and it is automatic.
Yeah, they don't make a stick, Don.
Yeah.
So
Not on the Tundras, huh?
not on the Tundras. They do on the Tacoma.
I know. I own one.
But do you own a stick?
I do. Bought it from Frontier Motors, in fact.
Oh my God.
They're good guys.
How many cars have you bought at Frontier Motors?
6.
6 cars.
Yeah.
Wow.
Probably better start thinking about 7.
Why?
And that's because the Trailblazer is up 28,000 miles now. So.
No kidding.
Yeah, I remember what happened when I waited just about one day too long before the engine went out of the Durango. So
Don, on the Tundra with the low mileage, it's got a $3,800 mileage yet, and the book says the loan value is $16,200 and retail is $20,700. So $16,200 and $20,700. I think that book's a little high.
Mm-hmm.
I think because of the age of the vehicle. Now I'm booking this out as a limited, so if she's listening right now, we want to make sure we get the right figure. I think the wholesale is going to be about $15,000. If she sold it herself, I think it'll probably bring around $18,000. Okay, you got to be about a couple of $1,000s under retail. So I think about $18,000 is what it's going to bring. But it's a vehicle I'd be interested in, so that's another one we're talking
Okay.
about. That if she brings it in, maybe I can write her a check for it, and she wouldn't have to mess around with it and have people come over and try to trade something in or try to help
Right.
with financing. Frontier Motors, again, is located at 230 Beverly Parkway. If you've never been, just Google Frontier Motors. There's a map right there. You just hit the map button. It'll show you exactly how to get to Frontier Motors. Our phone number is 436-8080. And remember, everybody out there, including you, is driving a used car, not a new car. Thanks for listening. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.
Yes,
Auf Wiedersehen.
you're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay. Come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.